Hey everyone, thank you so much for purchasing my Comic Creator Speech Bubbles Adobe After Effects project. And if you didn't happen to buy it, I hope if you're watching this video that it inspires you to go and pick it up. It's a really cool project and there's a lot you can create with this particular product. So I'm going to go over here and show you what we got going on and how you can use what you bought here. Okay, so the first thing, if you want to use the font I'm using in the example, you need to go to Adobe Fonts and activate this bada-boom font. Okay, so I have three different looks. We have circles, splats, and squares, and there's 5 particular looks within each of these designs. So here we have our 5 different looks for circles, we have some splats, and we have some squares. Now don't worry, if you don't like a lot of these looks, again, these are totally customizable. You can create whatever you want because we have 20 plus different parameters to work with here. Okay, so if I open up the circles here, now what we have is we have 3 different versions for each of the 5. Now we have an A, a B, and a C. Now this is just essentially telling you that A and B are 2 different animation styles, and then C is a clean one with no animation at all. So if you want to create your own animations, just open up the C. So for instance, here's A. A has this kind of horizontal bounce in and with the same kind of animation out, as well as the text kind of slowly animates in there. It's pretty cool. And B is just slightly different. It does kind of like a vertical expand with a bounce. Pretty cool there, as well as the animation out. Now what we're looking at here are the pre-comps of all the individual graphics here, and you'll notice these blue rectangles. This is because these have responsive design, so that makes them really easy to work with. If you're pre-comping them like this, right now this particular graphic is up for 5 seconds. If I want to bring it down to 3 seconds, I just do it like that, and this animation out is going to stick to the end here. See where I think we're looking at this particular one, yeah. So the keyframes are basically sticking to the endpoint here, and it's both of the animation in and out are remaining the same length, which before this responsive design feature you would have to go into the pre-comp and manually move those keyframes. So it makes all of these extremely easy to work with. So now let's go into one in particular. So let me open up this one here. Okay, so here let's take a look at how we can work with this. I'm going to close all these others. Now if you want to change the text, it's as simple as clicking on this text layer down here, and I can type in whoa. And where all the tools are is I have a null layer here called controls. I'm going to select that and then go to the effect controls panel, and now we can see all of our parameters here. Now I don't really want to go through these one at a time. I just want to tell you that I kind of split it up into 3 different ways, or 3 different areas of what you can modify here. Now first is the text. Whoops, I'm gonna lock this down. First is the text. You can see there's 6 or 7 different options here, such as I can turn the text off. Let's say you just want to use the speech bubble. Well, you can turn that text off and then create your own text. You can change the color, position, scale, rotation. One of the really cool things though is this wiggle attribute here. I have both frequency and amplitude. So let's say you want just the text to kind of bounce around a little bit, make it a little more dynamic. You can kind of crank these up and play around with different values here. And let me just kind of render preview this. So now we have the text bouncing around there, and you can actually do, I'm going to undo that, you can actually do the same thing with the bubble, which is just this background circle here. If you look down here, you can see bubble wiggle frequency and bubble wiggle amplitude. So it's kind of the same thing with our background element here. So you can see now that's kind of bouncing around. I'm going to undo that. It's pretty cool stuff. Now, so for the bubble is essentially just the circle without this little top triangle here. So I can move that around. I can change the height and the width. I can rotate it, skew it out, a bunch of different things. But the really cool part here and where you can really customize is this top triangle section. So let's say I'm using this on an image and my subject is over here speaking. So I don't want to rotate this. I just want to kind of move this triangle, so I can easily do that. Now you can see here, what is cool about this is no matter where I move it around, it will automatically keep that stroke and fill merged. but if I move it all the way out, you'll see it's just a little triangle that has its own little shape here, the way it's set up in After Effects. So I can rotate this, I can move the position. So I can move this over here, and then I can even change the width and the length of it. So if I wanted to go really far, make that go way out, change this around. And so that's one thing you can do. And then you can also, I could just rotate this and that will follow if I rotate the actual bubble. So that's going to follow. So if I want to quickly maneuver it that way as well. So there's a bunch of different options. You can create whatever you want, even if you want to create more of an oval, like I said before, and you want to kind of skew it out a little bit, you can do that. All right, so there you have it. There's how you use my Comic Creator Speech Bubbles After Effects project. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear any feedback if you've used it. Let me know what you like, what you don't like. If you have any work that you've created with it, I'd love for you to share some links with me. That would be super cool. Also, for you Premiere Pro users, I'm going to be creating some Mogurt files. So in the coming weeks, those will be coming out soon. I'll provide a link in the description for this video. So be sure to check those out as well. All right, enjoy.